Good evening, students. Welcome to our evening class. I'm sure you all had a good read of the subject of the topic of supply. And I'm sure now when we are discussing this topic, you are in a good position to understand the concept of supply, how the supply concept has to be applied in our actual practical professional work. So yes, very good evening, Ananya, Surinder, Lavanya, Meenu, Nisha, Karan, Vanshika, Divya, Maithili, Nikunj, Neelam, Nidhi, Amit, Sudipta, Purav, Nitin, Sridhar, Anushka, Diksha, Dhanlakshmi, Mangla, Anjum, Yashwant, Satish Kumar, Prajot, Harshal, Nisha. You may find some challenge whenever I'll make a reference to previous point, but don't worry, you'll still understand. Yes, good evening, Vedant. So good evening, everyone. And we are in this very interesting topic. So I'll summarize for everyone whatever we have done so that you get into the flow. So basically, every taxation law is dependent on something called as taxable event and also taxable object. So two things are very important out of the four things. All four are important: taxable event, taxable object, taxable person, tax rate, and measure of value. But why I'm saying only first two things? Because this topic of supply, this chapter of supply, we are going to address the first two things. So first two things are taxable event. So what is taxable event? It is that activity, it is that transaction on the happening of which your tax is attracted. So like in case of income tax, it is the earning of income, which is the taxable event. So when you do that earning or when you are engaged in earning of income, then only the income tax will attract. The second thing is taxable object. It is that item on which the tax will attract. Like in case of income tax, the taxable object is the income. So in case of GST, our taxable event is supply and our taxable object is goods or services. If you remember, we had discussed this concept of goods services in the previous class itself. Now, most important, this concept of supply is, if I have to give you a generic meaning, it is a term which covers all the other taxable events, all the 17 taxable events, because you all know that GST is amalgamation of 17 different tax laws. So to cover all the tax laws, taxable events like the manufacture, sale, bringing inside local area, providing service, all these into one concept, the lawmaker found supply as the appropriate word. So supply basically is sub pay apply, that is applying on all these taxable events commonly one tax. But to understand it more technically, I have devised three steps. And once you follow these three steps, you understand the meaning of supply in a more proper manner. So what is step one? First, understand what is not treated as supply by the law. This is given in Schedule 3, which we studied in detail. Once you have checked that your transaction is not fitting in the no supply list, which is also called as the negative list, as you can see here, then you go to the next step, which is now check if your transaction is fitting in the definition of supply, which is provided in section 7.1. And we started reading this 7.1. So we studied the main section 7.1a. And then we are today going to read the remaining sections of 7.1a or clauses of 7.1a. So second step is to check if your transaction qualifies, satisfies the definition of supply. And once it does satisfy, then the last step is determining what is the nature of supply, whether it will be supply of goods or supply of services. Now, we discussed some concepts, like we discussed the term actionable claim because this had come in Schedule 3. Then we started discussing the step 2 in detail in the previous class. So Schedule 3 and step 1 was discussed in detail in the first class. And in the previous class, which was the second class of supply topic, we discussed the concept of, we discussed the step two, and in step two, we discussed what will be covered in supply. Now, when we were discussing that, there are three clauses. We started with clause A. Clause A is about the generic meaning of supply. This is in fact the main meaning of supply. So whenever you want to understand supply, you should read 7.1a. Now 7.1a has made out or brought out some important conditions requirements for any transaction to be treated as supply. So first, there should be some transaction like sale, barter, exchange, giving on lease, giving on license, giving on renting, etc. Then secondly, it should be either of goods or of service or a combine of both. Most important, it should be for a consideration. And lastly, it should be in the course of business. If you remember, we had discussed all of these things in detail. We discussed what is goods, what is service, what is not included. Then we discussed the concept of money. Then we discussed the concept of consideration and also the detailed definition of business. Now, these are the generic meanings of, or these are the requirements of the general meaning of supply. So now before I proceed with the next part, I will request that in case you have any particular question with any of the pointers, please do let me know. I'll answer your questions and then I'll proceed. So yes, good evening, Vedant, Ankita, Pavan, Aditya, Virashri. Yes. Let me know, students, if you have any queries, questions in whatever we have studied, discussed till now. I'll first answer those and then I will proceed with my deliberation. Till then, I'll also open the Bear Act. As you know, I'm very much fond of studying from Bear Acts, and also I will advocate you all to refer Bear Acts because Bear Acts always helps in better understanding. And I've always asked you all to refer to the Bear Acts of our CA Institute itself. So our ICAI has given these Bear Acts and they keep on updating them. So kindly refer them. सर जीएसटी के लिए कितने पेजेस का रजिस्टर लेना है सी बेटा देर इज नो सच थिंग बट नॉर्मली एज अ स्टूडेंट आई ऑलवेज प्रेफर having lesser pages books for the simple reason it is easy to carry because see every student will require a different number of notings. Maybe I may require total 500 pages for my GST notes. I'm talking about register pages, not notebook pages. But somebody may be okay with 200 pages, somebody may be okay with 300 pages because I had already mentioned that GST, you have less of practical and more of conceptual part. But how much of conceptual part to write, what all things you want to note, that is your choice. So I cannot suggest you the exact number of pages, but I, as a student, used to prefer buying smaller pages books like 200 pages so that it is easy to carry. And anyways, there are different chapters, so it is not necessary that you means have all chapters in one book. You can have different chapters in different books, and it is okay. So I'll prefer having smaller books better. I am not getting section 7.3. But where did we start Aditi 7.3? I think we are yet to start 7.3, na? I have only done 7.1, then 7.3. See, if you are saying 7.3, okay, sorry, I'm sorry, we did 7.3. But see, what is 7.3? As you can see, I've written over here. 7.3 is about classification. Details I'm going to explain, but I've only read out 7.3. So 7.3 is talking about how to decide which transaction will be called as supply of goods and which will be called as supply of service. That's it. But which will be called that we are yet to study the list. Nisha Pal, when will income tax classes start? Beta, they are, if I'm not wrong, scheduled to start soon. I cannot give you the exact date because that is not in my hands to decide. But yes, in our planning, in our scheduling, there is a scheduling plan for income tax classes. Fine, beta? Don't worry, we'll start very soon. Sudipta says, this is my first class of GST. Can you give me a brief summary? I've already given you the brief, beta. And And whatever is done, once you see the recordings of previous classes, you'll understand everything. But even if you are starting from today, you'll understand the later part. यशवंत से सर अगर जीएसटी लगता है तो हमें पे करना होता है और जीएसटी लगेगा या नहीं इसके लिए सप्लाई कॉन्सेप्ट पढ़ रहे। हम्म, थोड़ा मुझे नहीं समझा व्हाट यू एग्जैक्टली मीन। अगर जीएसटी लगता है तो हमें पे करना होता है, करेक्ट। सो वेन एवर जीएसटी इज एप्लीकेबल यू हैव टू पे। जीएसटी लगेगा या नहीं इसके लिए सप्लाई कॉन्सेप्ट, एग्जैक्टली एग्जैक्टली, यू आर राइट बेटा। Beta, where is that? On which page you are asking this no claim bonus? Let me know the page number. I'll take you to the page number and explain. I'll explain that what you are asking. Just tell me the page number. So students, we are here. I explained in detail 71A, which is the general meaning of supply. And we also started 71AA. Now, what is 71AA? Now, 71AA, 71B, all these are special meanings of supply. Somebody saying my voice is low. Aditi Verma, beta, again 1A is yet to be done. Beta, you are asking those clauses which I have not yet taught. Today it is in step 3, section 7.3, section 7.1A. These two are to be covered today. Let me reach there. Once I complete 7.1, my next step is 7.1.3 and 7.1A. Correct, Aditi? So let us go step by step. See, I'll just, can you see this, Aditi? What is the nature of supply? 7.1A, 7.3. So we are yet to come here. Now we are still here. So we did 7.1A. Now we also did double A. Today we'll do B and C. So once we complete that in half an hour, I'll go to that part. ठीक है ना बेटा? Surinder, okay, allow me time. I'll come to your doubt. Akhila, see beta, don't worry about the rates. The rates are never asked in your exams. So you need not remember when it was 5 and it is changed to 12 or 18 or 40. Though these changes happened on 22nd of September. So anyways, for your exams, the new rates are applicable. In new rates, 12 has gone. So now you have 5 and 18 as the major rates. And 40 is only for some specific sin goods. So main rates are now only 2, 5 and 18, which are your major rates. 12 has gone. But anyways, you will never get a question asking you what is the rate of what. Wherever in any practical question they want you to calculate GST, they will give you the rate. ठीक है बेटा? So don't worry, you don't have to learn the rates. So now we are in the second step, students. So 7.1A is completely done. 7.1AA is done. I'll just write the short here. So what was 7.1A? Now we are in the meaning of supply. General meaning was 7.1A. So from 7.1AA special meaning starts. Now we studied 7.1AA. What 7.1AA covers? It is basically covering a transaction where some unincorporated clubs or associations, they provide anything to their members. What does double A says? This is deemed that they are separate persons. And why this is there? If you remember, I had explained that there was a famous judgment of Kolkata Club case by Honorable Supreme Court, which said that an unincorporated body and its members are one in the same, so there can be no supply between them. So to override the effect of this judgment, this amendment was brought in. So now we are in the special meaning of supply. So from here, special meaning starts. So first special meaning is even if an unregistered, unincorporated association club provides any services to its members, it will be treated as a supply. And students, I hope A is clear to everyone. Now let us go to B. B deals with import of service. Now, to understand B, let me first come back to A. Now see, A had four requirements. First, there should be some transaction. Second, it should be of good service. Third, there should be consideration. Fourth, it should be in course of your business. Now, B is going to override one of these conditions, and that is why B is given as a special case. What does B says? Now, what is your transaction? The transaction is import. Import of what? Import of only services, not goods. Now, in this case, in import of services, what are they saying? They are saying that in case of import of services, where you are charging a consideration, but even if it is not in the course of business, we want to treat it as a supply. So basically, import of service for consideration. So out of four, three conditions are present. One, there is a transaction. Two, it is of service. And three, consideration is there. Now, what they are saying, even if for personal use, now this is the meaning of that. That is non-business use. It will be a supply. So here basically out of these four conditions, they have negated this condition. So they are saying in case of import of service, you have to satisfy only three conditions. There is a transaction, the transaction is of service and it is for some consideration. If these three are satisfied, even though it is not related to business. So I'll give you an example. My friend, now this is a real case. My friend is a very renowned architect in UK. Now, after this, what I'm going to say is an example. So, first fact is true that he is a renowned architect in UK. Now, the second part is an example. Now, I want to renovate my house. So, I just talk to him. I say, "Ki boss, I want to renovate my house, and I want that since you are so renowned, you have been designing such good structures in UK. So, I want your professional services." So, he said, "Fine, Vishal, send me the details of your house." So I send him the house drawings and all present photographs. And he does the interior designing and he gives me the interior design and he guides my agencies over here ki what type of changes he wants in my house. Now, in this particular case, what I have done is I'm importing a service and I'm paying him, let us say, $10,000, but it is for my personal use. Still, it will be taxable. Just give me a minute. Sorry. So students, this is the practical example. So I have taken services from my friend and it is for designing of my house. So it is a personal use service. Now, if you apply the general rule of supply, it will not be falling in supply as per clause A, but the law wants to tax such transaction. Hence, they have curated a special case in clause B where it says that even if it is not for business use, it will be treated as supply. So I've given you a simple example to understand this, right? Just very good morning. No problem. Jab jago tab savera. This is one of our proverbs. So even if it is morning, it's fine for me. Maybe Josh is right now in US. So this time in US is early morning time. So Josh, happy US morning. Fine. Okay. No problem. See, greeting is important. How you greet is immaterial. The feeling should get conveyed whether it is morning, evening, afternoon. Everything is fine. Fine. Excellent. Chalo then. Let us proceed. That is okay, Josh. So that is very fine. So that's why I'm saying it is good. Somebody should say good morning. So in fact, it is an alert for everyone else, whether they are alert or not, right? So that's fine. There's nothing to be sorry about it. So students, I hope you understood B. Now I'm coming to an interesting part C. Now again, C is a special case where again, out of four, out of these four main conditions, they have again removed one condition. So what does clause C deals with? Clause C deals with those transactions which they want to tax it even if there is no consideration involved. So let's see what C says. C says those transactions or activities. Now what transactions they want to cover here? They have covered it in Schedule 1. So we'll be reading Schedule 1 now. So those transactions which are covered in Schedule 1 and which are made or agreed to be made without a consideration will be treated as supply. So what does clause C says? Clause C says activities which are specified in Schedule 1 and they are without consideration. So see, now you'll understand why they have different clauses. So actually, students, the main condition is this only. You have to satisfy four limbs to be treated as a supply. Now here, this has come out of a special case law, as I said, where they wanted to deem that these unregistered body and its members are also two persons so that they can call it a supply. Then in case of import of service, they want to be supply even if it is for personal use. And third, they want some transactions to be treated as supply even if that is not done for a consideration. In short, you can say these are free supplies. Free supplies mean without consideration. Now we will study what are those transactions which are mentioned in Schedule 1, which they want to tax as a supply even without a consideration. So this I will take from your module so that you'll also have a connect with module. So all these things, students, we have studied. I will request you that please go through the module. Whatever you have not understood, any part in module you want me to repeat, please let me know. Now somebody I think had mentioned here about no claim bonus. They wanted me to explain. That will be covered now when we are going to deal with this part of what is this schedule 1, but still I'll just he has written the page number as 2.10. So I'll tell you what is this no claim bonus. Where is this written bit on 2.10? You said on 2.10 there is some no claim bonus. It is not here, but if I'm correct. Where is beta no claim bonus here? Yes, so I'll come to that beta. 2.20 I'll come. Now I'll answer other questions, but you are not registered under GST. So Lohit, what is your comment? I did not get, but you are not registered under GST. So I did not get your point. Akash, sir, can you give me some tips to manage my studies? Okay, Akash, we'll have a separate discussion on that. Sir, give one example of 7-1C. Are Aditi, beta, wait. I have not yet started 7-1C. We have to read Schedule 1 because 7-1C says only those transactions जिनका नाम 7-1 Schedule 1 में दिया है वो without consideration सप्लाई माने जाएंगे. तो मुझे शेड्यूल 1 पे आने तो दो. अदिति, यू आर वेरी फास्ट फॉरवर्ड. थोड़ा सा आपके बुलेट ट्रेन को थोड़ा सा स्लो करो. हमारे साथ चलो. वी आर स्टिल अवर रेगुलर राजधानी एक्सप्रेस. यू आर बुलेट ट्रेन. सो लेट अस गो बाय राजधानी speed, not by bullet train speed. Purav is saying good send for sample. No, 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 no. No guesses. Don't guess because law is very clear. They have given their list in Schedule 1. Only the transactions in Schedule 1, if made free, is no supply. Correct? 7-1B. Okay, Akhila. So you are saying normal people who are not registered. Yes, yes, yes. So you are right. But again, let us not generalize things. So don't talk about registration right now. It is not very correct, Akhila, if you are saying like this. So basically, I am importing a service. And if you're talking about 7-1B, I'm importing a service. The import is for a personal use. In that particular case, firstly, it will be a supply. Now, whether I'm registered or not registered, the definition of supply has no concern with that. When the definition has no concern with that, in that particular case, you should always not generalize things. See, I'll read 7-1B again. Import of services for a consideration, whether or not in the course of business. But if you say this, that even if you are not registered, you will fall here, then better today you all have to take registration, or you all have to pay tax because you all are using so many services which are imported. I'll tell you how. Many of your OTT platforms are not Indian platforms. If you have subscribed to them and if you are paying to them for the OTT services, you as an individual or as a family who has subscribed to OTT will fall here, and then you will get caught and you have to pay tax. So don't generalize. Here they are saying this will be a supply. Whether you have to pay tax as a recipient or the supplier will pay, that is the next point that we will see in the topic of levy. So that is why I want to correct you. Though your thought process is going good, but don't generalize. You should never generalize whenever you are reading a law subject, right? Law has to be read what the law says. I repeat my sentence. Law has to be read as what the law says. Don't add or delete your words. Akhil, I hope you got my point. Lohit says, I want to ask for import of services. I'm who is not registered. Lohit, I think you also got the answer because the same thing which I said to Akhila applies to you. Correct. So whether you have to pay GST or not, Akhila and Lohit, that you will get to know in the third chapter. So right now we are only deciding whether this is supply or not. Now the question is whether you have to pay GST, supplier has to pay GST, who has to pay GST? That we study in third chapter. See how our law is designed. So law is first telling you what is taxable. That is why if you see, I have four things to be covered: taxable event, taxable object, taxable person, right? I have not yet come on taxable person. And then the tax rate. These will be covered in the third chapter. And then next is the taxable value. So we are going step by step. We are only on the first two things, taxable event and taxable object. Fine, students? I hope you are getting our flow. So now let me come to, so consideration we discussed. Yes. Now we come to the point of consideration and no consideration. Now see, 7-1C deals with those cases where tax will be levied even where the transaction is without consideration, right? But before I come to that point, again I repeat, only those transactions whose names are given in section 7-1C, and 7-1C says the names are given in schedule 1, only those transactions will be taxable even without consideration. But for all other transactions, if there is no consideration, there is no tax. Now here there are few examples where you have to test whether there is consideration or not, and only on that basis it will be decided whether there will be tax or not. Now first transaction is this. Now it is very common, like let us say you are visiting some orphanage or you are visiting some old age home. You go there, and then the people who are running that, they request that if you want you can donate something. Now here you decide that okay, this is a very good cause, it is helping the orphan children or it is helping the old age people, so let me donate 10,000 rupees. So you go and donate 10,000 rupees to such an institution, let us call it as a charitable or a social cause institution. Now the question is, you have given them 10,000 rupees, whether there is a supply. The answer is no. You have given them 10,000, which is a one-sided activity. What are they giving back to you in return? See, this is that Latin language, quid pro quo. Quid pro quo is a Latin term which means something in return. Quid pro quo. Are you getting something in return by giving that 10,000? Answer is no. So this will not be taxed in GST, because for GST being taxed, four basic things are required. There should be a transaction, it should be of good service, there should be consideration, it should be in the nature of, in the course of business. Now, if any one of this is absent, there will be no tax under 7(1)(a). Yes, there are three special cases, double A, B, C. Only in those cases, one of these four conditions, even if not present, tax will be there. But except those three clauses, in all other cases, all these conditions have to be satisfied. Now, donation is not fitting in those three cases, hence, donation is one such example given over here. But interestingly, in donation, many times it happens that what happens that when you are giving donation, many times, now again I'll give you a practical example. Let us say you go to some temple or you go to some gurudwara, and they say ki sir, we want some utensils to be purchased. You said okay, fine, I will donate you money or I'll donate utensils, but I want my name to be written on that. Now, this is important. This is very common when you go to like dharamshalas or such type of charitable or religious institutions. You will find that somebody has donated fan and the name of that person is written on the fan. Somebody has donated some utensil, the name of the person is written on utensil. Let us say you have constructed one room, your name is written outside the room on the entrance of the room. This is common. I hope you all have seen this in many of these gurudwaras or many of these temples or such places, right? Now, in this case, I have paid 10,000, same example, but I have asked them to put my name. Now, this question was lot of disputed question, that whether now there will be supply. Why? Because I am getting something in return. What I am getting in return? I am getting my name written. So whether this is amounting to something in return, that is, I am getting publicity. Now, this was a disputed question. To this, the answer is given in the circular, which we are discussing right now. So here the reference of that circular will also come. See, this is the circular. So what does this circular says? Whenever you are giving gift or donation, any such thing to any trust institution, there is no GST, firstly, because there is no supply. Second, if let us say you ask them to put a name, so I'm giving donation and in return I'm asking them to put a name, still it is not a supply. It will not be considered as your promotion or your advertisement until and unless this name is of your business or of your product. So I'll give you an example. I donated this 10,000 to some Gurudwara and I've asked them to write my mother's name. Ki bhai, this is like many times they write na, in fond memory of late Srimati, this. There is no supply by them. But if I tell them, you write my firm's name, Ashwa Legal Advisors. So once I'm asking them to write my firm's name, or I'm asking them to write my brand name. So let us say I'm Reliance Company, or I'm Mafatlal brand, or I'm Raymond's brand, or I'm Louis Philip. I'm asking them to put the logo of my brand or my company. Then this 10,000 will be liable to be taxed. So remember one thing in relation to donation given to trust, charitable institution, even if you are asking them to write your name, names of your relatives, no GST. There will be no supply because it is not tantamounting to you getting return like publicity. But if you are asking them to write your business name, brand name, something relating to your business, it tantamounts to publicity. And in that case, it will be liable to GST. This is what is given in this circular. I hope this first clarification is clear to everyone. Maithili saying, but there is claim under Form 10BD. Maithili beta, is this 10BD relating to GST or income tax? It is relating to income tax. Secondly, it is claim of deduction over there. Am I correct? You're talking about this Form 10BD, Maithili? Yes. So don't mix beta. That is a different thing. So Divya is saying, sir, it means donation in name of business is taxable. Means what? If you give donation and you ask that trust to write somewhere the name of your company or your brand name, then what the trust has given to you is a supply. Supply of what? Supply of advertisement. It is like now, see, IPL will start or any of these matches are happening. Same, I'm doing the same thing. I'm paying them money. I'm asking them to put the name of my brand somewhere, either on the ground they print it or on some billboard they print it, or every time there is a four or a six on the big screen, my brand name comes. So the same thing, if I'm asking the trust to do, okay, I'm giving you 10,000, I'm calling it as donation, but I'm asking you to put the name of my company or my brand name I want you to put or my logo I want you to put, then this 10,000 donation will be a supply. There will be GST on that. But if I'm asking to put my personal name, my parents' name, my children name, or anybody's name, personal name, not a company name, not a brand name, it is not taxable. This is the only difference which you have to keep in mind. Pawan Kumar says donation as per corporate social responsibility GST apply. See, if again I repeat, beta, whether it is CSR or not, don't see that. See whether the company's name is written anywhere. If yes, it is a supply. So if anybody is writing their late father's name, no GST. Perfect, Aditi. Right. Dhanalakshmi, I have seen the circular number in many places of C intermodule in exam. Will they ask the question based on circular? Very good question, Dhanalakshmi. Now, Dhanalakshmi has a very good point. Ki, sir, in GST especially, you'll find many circular numbers. Will they ask you questions? Answer is yes. But they will not ask you question as to what is in circular 116, like how you have in front of your screen. They will ask you question on donation. They will give you exactly something like this example. See, sorry. There it is. Yes. See, you have some case study like this. So some example will be given like this, and they will ask you whether this is supply, whether GST is applicable. Now you have to answer. Ki, yes, GST is applicable because this is the case, or GST is not applicable because this is the case. Now, wherever you have some circular which has clarified that, it is highly recommended that you write this circular number if possible, because this will carry half mark, quarter mark, not full marks. So let us say it is a 2 mark question. You will get 1.5 mark even without writing the circular number. But if you write the circular number, you will get full marks. So there will be no question directly on a circular as such, but on any of these issues, you will have a question. And while answering, your answer will carry only half a mark for writing the circular number, half a mark for writing the section number. Otherwise, you will get full marks even without writing that, except that half mark. John Mohammed, you are asking me who is liable to pay GST. Please don't ask me now because that is part of chapter 3. If you start asking me questions of chapter 3, 4, 5, and if I start answering now, it will be very confusing for everyone. Let us keep it limited to what is our point. Right now, let us just discuss whether this is supply or not. Who is liable to pay? Please keep your question. You can write it somewhere that I have doubt on this point. When I'll come to that chapter, beta, I will answer it. But right now, if I start answering, because it is also not straightforward answer, there are three different persons on whom GST liability is. So, John, please allow me not to answer your question now. Just is asking, so sir, like the Reliance company charity in Ganesh Utsav, Lal Bagh Raja, so the tax, 100%. Very good, Judge. That will be taxable. Yes, Anupam, you can ask me your question. If you want, you raise hand, or if you want, you can type your question over here. John Mohammed, business or non-profit organization? I did not get your point. See, whether you are a non-profit organization, we call them as NPO. GST law has nothing to do with that. Even if you are registered as an NPO, like all trusts are registered as NPOs only. But the moment they take donation and they put company name against, because they have received the donation, they are putting company name, GST will be applicable. So GST has nothing to do whether you are registered as a business organization or a NPO. Sorry. So now I have further question. Purov is asking, so whether it is GST or income tax or COL 0.5 marks are deemed to be deducted without section number. See, Vida, again, I'll repeat. Purov, it depends upon the weightage. If the question is of high weightage, like 3 marks, 4 marks, 5 marks, then they allot zero point 0.5 marks roughly for writing section numbers or your these circular numbers. If it is 1 or 2 marks question, they only want the main answer. So I'll tell you one simple thing, students. See, as a student, how I used to prepare. I used to first focus on the understanding of the subject. Then second, I used to focus on the technical language. And third, I used to focus on the section number or the technical details like the circular number. I'll tell you, in my CA final, I scored. So I'll not tell you the marks because it will be just too much flattery. But I scored very good marks, 80 plus marks. Just I'll give you this answer without writing all section numbers. Yes, I did write section numbers, but for few, not for all. What I am trying to tell you is, despite of that, I scored extraordinary marks. I never thought I will score so much. That also at CA final level in taxation. So what I'm trying to tell you from this point is, don't be bothered that I have to learn every section number. But at the same time, I have been saying this right from day one. See, as a professional, what is the difference between you and any normal BCom student or any other non-CA student? Is that they may know the law first, but they will not know it thoroughly. Second, they do not use the technical language. Third, they never know the section number. What is the difference between you and them is these 3 points. But still, progress one by one. First, let us have a complete understanding of the subject. Second, try to convert your language into technical language. Now, let us say if this is not done, don't worry, no marks are deducted for that. But then, third is also important, where at times you have some marks like the section numbers or the circular numbers. And I already gave you the trick how to do it. Whenever you are reading, writing anything, use the section number, repeat the section number. And while repeating, You don't remember, na? Write it. See and write. See and write. No problem. The moment you keep on repeating it, after 3, 4 times, it will automatically be imbibed in you. Correct? But I want you all to develop this habit कि you will use section numbers, you will use clause numbers. See, I want you all to be not a normal chartered accountant, but someone who is distinguished out. You go anywhere, people should say, this is a different person. His knowledge is different and his command on the subject is different. Right? Purav and everyone. Balio is asking, sir, what is B2C last versus B2C means? See, GST has two category of transactions. B2B means business to business, where the seller is also registered and buyer is also registered. We call it as B2B or business to business. Where I am selling to the final consumer or any person who is unregistered, it is called as B2C, which is business to consumer. What is B2C large? When you go to the topic of returns, you will find that they have given a monetary value. Wherever your transaction value exceeds that monetary amount, we call it as B2C large. But what is B2C? Registered person selling to unregistered person. Right? Then Venkataya Haripriya is asking if donation is partly named on it and partly unnamed. Beta, simple answer, beta. Don't get unnecessary complications, partly, non-partly. Whatever amount you have paid for putting your business name or logo, that part amount is supply. Kashish, in case if a famous person donates and his name is written, but see, famous person, you are also a famous person. If you are not today, maybe after 10 years you will be famous. So what will happen? After 10 years, your donation will be supply and today it is no supply. No, it has always been no supply. Until and unless you are writing your business name, whether famous or not. See, there are so many businesses which are not famous. They want to be famous. That is why they are writing their names. So famous, non-famous is immaterial. Until it is a person's name, no supply. Once it is a business name or brand name or logo, it is a supply. Famous, not famous is not a criteria. Maithili, the 3 point strategy is which 3 point strategy you are saying about reading Acha means overall law, that is taxation law. First is have command on the understanding, like what we are doing, whether it is supply or not. First, you should know whether it is supply or not because that carries major marks. And that is where I'm giving you steps, I'm giving you some shortcuts. So, first part is you should understand the subject conceptually. Your conceptual understanding should be correct, your answer should be correct. Second is now try to use the language of the law wherever possible. Though this is not compulsory, but I want you all to upgrade to that level. And again, this will come by practice, by repetition. And third is using the citations like the section numbers, the clause numbers, etc. This is the 3 levels. Conceptual understanding, where your answer should be correct. 2, language, the words. Third, the citations. Fine, everyone? Done? Now coming to second clarification, which is again simple. Now again, some people had confusion. Let us say I'm an artist. What I'm doing, now I want to display my paintings in some exhibition. So I will be sending my paintings from my house or my workshop to the galleries or to that place wherever the exhibition is being held. So whether sending it from my house, my workshop to that exhibition place, whether there is any supply, answer is no, because nobody's purchasing it yet. Nobody has purchased it yet. I will go take it there. It will be put somewhere on display. People will come, people will clap, people will say, wow, nobody will pay anything. I'll bring it back home. Is there a supply? No. But if out of those 10 paintings, if one painting is selected and a person pays for it, at that time, when I will give that painting to that person for that payment, that one case will be supplied. 9 paintings will come back. So, what is the clarification here? Sending your paintings to some exhibition or art gallery, sending them, there is no supply. Please understand. See, it is very simple. Don't get confused with all these clarifications. These all clarifications came because somebody raised that concern. You follow the 4 point rule. What is required for supply? Transaction. What is transaction? Sale, renting. Now, when I'm sending my uh, painting to some gallery, have I sold it? Have I given it on rent? Nothing is there. So the transaction itself is missing. Also, there is no consideration. So how can there be a supply? See, these all circulars have come because many peoples have raised questions. So to answer their questions, the government decided to give some clarification in the form of a circular. But that is not very necessary, because if you understand the logic, that is why I'm giving you in simple pointers with practical approach. Nothing is technical in supply if you understand those four conditions, which is in 7(1)(a), and then the special cases in AA, B, and C, which we are going to start. Now, this somebody has asked me, what is this no claim bonus? See, please understand, it is a simple marketing. Now, what is this marketing? I'll tell you. I am an insurance company. You have taken Mediclaim insurance from me. First year, second year, third year, 4 year, 5 years. Since 5 years, you are making payment to me of premium, and every year, by grace of God, nothing is happening to you. You are never getting hospitalized. Now, as a human being in sixth year, what you will think? Arey yaar, I am wasting my money because I am paying premium every year. Nothing is happening to me. My premium is going waste. So maybe in the sixth year, you decide not to take the policy. Now, what these insurance companies do in order to just give you some lalach, what they say, कि, okay, since you have not yet taken claim for from me, I am giving you a bonus. So if you are taking the policy again, now the sixth time, let us say the premium is 10,000, but I'm giving you a bonus of 2,000. Why 2,000? Because in last 5 years, you have not taken any claim amount from me. You never took the policy amount from me. So you are a special person. I'm giving you 2,000 as bonus. Now the language that they use is I am giving you bonus. But practically it is what? It is a marketing stunt. They will say that okay, 10,000 is our premium, but since you have not taken claim till now, I'm giving you 2,000 bonus. I'm giving you bonus, so net you pay only 8,000. See, 2,000 is no bonus. It is nothing but a discount given by a special name. See, this is what is happening even today when you go to malls or you go online. What is happening? They first say that the product is of 10,000, and then they say there is some special 26 January discount, there is some special Sunday discount, there is some stock clearance, something. They will say some fancy thing, and they will say I'm giving you 50% off. Then they say if you use this credit card, you will get 10% cash back. Now tell me, if somebody is giving you cash back, is there a supply in that? See, cashback is what? Cashback is a discount, but we feel that we are getting something. You're not getting something. Your final price is getting reduced. So instead of calling it as discount, which has become an old word, people don't find much craving for that. So now they say no claim bonus. They say I'm giving you some special incentive. They say I'm giving you cash back. So you feel you are getting something. What is that? It is simply reducing the final price. So your net purchase price is reduced. It is as simple as that. So beta, that is what is no claim bonus, right? Business we had discussed in detail. Import we just discussed. Now we come to Schedule 1. Now what is Schedule 1 going to deal with? Schedule 1 is going to deal with those cases where there is no consideration. This is also called as deemed supply. Now see, when we studied Schedule 3, which was dealing with no supply cases, we called it as negative list. Similarly, when we are dealing with this Schedule 1, in which you have to pay tax even on free supplies, this is also called as deemed supply. So see, you have to remember these terms, because many times these terms will be used like negative list or deemed supply, something like this, right? Now, we are going to read the list where even if something is done free, it will be taxed. Now, what are those cases which done free will be taxed is given in Schedule 1. Minu is saying sending picture for competition and you win, then is it a supply? Oh, good point. I'll come back, Minu. Let me just take other points. So no claim bonus is given to, yes, to retain them. You are correct. So it is a discount, Veerashri. So deem means Anjum beta assume. Yes, Adit, you are right. So see again, this is where I was saying. What was my second point is language. So you can write it as assume, but the better word is deemed. So this is how you have to develop your language also, right? Now I come to Meenu's question, which is a very good question. She says, Ki, sir, many times there are competitions where if you take a photograph and you send to the competition, and if your photograph is selected, you get some prize. Now, whether winning a prize is a supply. See, again, I tell you, it is a 4-point rule. What is a 4-point rule? What is supply? One, there has to be a transaction. Two, there has to be goods or service. Three, there has to be consideration. Four, it should be in the course of business. Now, in many of our cases, this fourth is not present because we are not into the profession of photography. So for all of us, whenever we are clicking a photo, we are sending and winning something, no GST is applicable because of this, right? But let us take another example. Let us say you are a professional photographer. You are clicking a photo and you are sending to a competition and you get a prize. Now, whether this prize will be treated as a supply, again, it will not be treated as a supply. Why? I'll tell you. Now, here business element is present, but please understand one thing. Why there is no supply? In order to be supply, the first thing has to be there has to be a transaction. What is the transaction? Because you are not the only one who has sent the photograph. There are hundreds of people who have sent the photograph. Some person's photograph is selected as yes, your photograph is best or it is having some very good backdrop or some good photographic skills. So I'm giving you a prize. Selecting your photograph for a prize in a competition, how can it be a supply? Is there a sale? Is there some any type of thing? No. So even in otherwise cases where even a professional person is sending to a competition, there is no supply. I hope this is clear me. Perfect. So sending to competitions and getting selected, no supply. Fine. Because there are more 100 photographs which have come. Only the thing is they are not selected. So that will not make it a supply. Because if it would have been supply, it should be supply for all 100. Yes, now you are correct. So Kambira says, sir, if an artist get business contract, that is where now it will be supply. So let us say your photo got selected, you got a prize. But now after this, people are coming to you with some contract saying that, okay, now you do photography for me, or you do designing for me, or you do painting for me. Then now it becomes, these contracts become supply. Correct? Okay. Now we read the list of those transactions which will be taxed even if it is done free, that is without consideration. Now this list is given in Schedule 1 and it is also called as deemed supply, right? Now, what does Schedule 1 covers? Schedule 1 covers these four transactions, only four. Please understand what are these four. First is permanent transfer, disposal of business asset. Now, I will use simplified word to make you understand what are these four transactions. So first, so let me call it as deemed supply. Now you already know what is deemed supply. That is where you are giving something free without anything in return. So it is without a consideration. Now what is para? You have a business asset which is gifted, donated, given free. So what is the first deemed supply? There is a business asset which you have given as gift or donated or given free. Most important. What is most important? Now for this, what is the condition? At the time of purchase, you had taken credit of GST paid. Now we have understood this concept. This is called as ITC, input tax credit. In my first class, I had explained that when you are purchasing anything, goods or service, you pay GST. That is your input side GST. Now, when you are selling, you have to pay tax on the output side, which is your output GST or the GST on sales. But I'd explained that you don't pay the whole GST because whatever you had paid on the input side, that is subtracted. Now, since you are allowed to subtract this GST on the input side, whatever tax you paid on the input side, that is called as your input tax credit because it is a benefit to you. You can reduce it from your sales tax liability. Now, what is the point? Whenever you purchase this business asset, at the time of purchasing business asset, you paid GST on that. And most important, you had taken the benefit of that. What is that benefit? That benefit is ITC. So if at the time of purchasing an asset, business asset, because in business only you will get ITC, you paid GST and you took the credit, you took the benefit of it. So such cases, even if now you are giving free, you will have to pay GST. So what is the critical point or the important point over here that makes it taxable is that at the time of purchase, whatever GST was paid, you have taken the benefit, that is the credit of the GST paid. So now, even if you are gifting it, giving it free, donating it, it will be leviable to GST. I'll give you example. So I regularly purchase laptops. I require it for my profession. Now let us say I have four laptops which now I want to replace because they are around 1 year old and I want better higher version laptops for my work. Now first option is I sell these laptops at a very nominal price of 5,000 each. If I sell it at 5,000 each, it is anyways a normal supply as per my 718 itself, all four conditions satisfied. Sale, it is goods, it is for consideration, and it is part of my business. I've already explained this earlier also, where I'm selling any assets of my business, even though I'm not in the business of selling laptops. But since the laptop was used in business, whenever I'll sell it, it will be liable to GST. So four conditions satisfied, it is taxable as 718. Second possibility, I think that yeah, anyways, I'm getting only 4-5 thousand per laptop. Instead, let me donate it to some charitable institution where some children will be using the laptop for their studies. So I go to a charitable institution where they have, or let us say it is an orphanage, where I decide to give these laptops free of cost. So I've gifted it. So whenever I'm gifting my laptop, I'm giving it free of cost. Now comes this point that now since I have given it free out of four conditions, the third condition of consideration is not satisfied. Is it a supply as per 718? Answer no. So as per general meaning, it is not a supply. But the moment anything is free, you should come and check 71C. Now what does 71C says? If your transaction is falling in the Schedule 1 list, which is called as deemed supply, you have to still pay tax even though you have done it free. Now what is I have done free? My first transaction, which is covered in this deemed list, is I've given away my business asset free, or I've gifted it or donated it. Fine. But then this condition is very important. Without this condition, it will not be taxed. So what you check that today, whatever laptop you are giving as free, I've given this laptop free. When I purchased it 1 year back, I had paid 18% GST. I had taken the benefit of that GST by taking the credit, adjusting it in my sales. It means once I have taken the credit at the time of purchase, now even if I am donating it, giving it free, I have to pay tax. So this is the first case where free transactions are also taxable. Diksha is asking, sir, why tax is levied to me? I did not get your question, beta. The taxpayer having any asset when he purchased it, that he use his ITC for his business purpose. So when he's selling it, has to pay GST. Just whenever he sells, he has to pay GST in any case. This is what we discussed last time also. So we discussed this point when we were understanding the general supply. So one is my laptop, which is for my profession. Second is your laptop, which you are using for your personal use, that is studies. If you sell your laptop second and you don't have to pay any GST, but when I sell my laptop, I have to pay GST. This was discussed in the first class itself, right? That distinction we did, laptop, your personal vehicles, your personal mobile phones. But if the same thing is used in business, it is taxable. Now we are a step further. If I'm not selling it, if I'm giving this laptop free, now if I'm giving it free, whether I should be taxed, answer is no as per 7(1)(a) because I do not satisfy the condition of consideration. But because of 7(1)(c), if I had taken ITC of this laptop at the time of purchase, I had taken the benefit, so now I'll have to pay GST. Aditi is asking if at the time of purchase I had not taken credit, then you don't fall in 7(1)(c) because it's 7(1)(c) read with Schedule 1 has this precondition that at the time of purchase you should have taken the credit. You should have taken the benefit of GST paid. If you did not take the benefit, now you don't have to pay GST. It is simple. So that is what I'm saying. Only these specific transactions with these specific conditions are only liable to GST. Please be clear with that. Purav, if in the same example of laptop purchase at say 10,000 with GST and later while disposing it off or scrapping it loss. See whether you sell it at loss or profit is of no difference because GST is not on profit, GST is on transaction. So you may sell it at a nominal price, still there will be GST. So I hope Aditi, you are answered. Purav, I think you are answered. Now with answer, in case of donation, this rule is applicable. Like the donation receiver don't show firm's name. See, but I don't mix two things. In the previous point of donation, what was our point? You are donating money. When you are donating money, is the trust giving you something? Answer is no. So on money donation, there is no tax. The trust don't have to pay tax until unless the trust is putting your firm name. Now we are on the second part. I am donating my asset. Now, when I'm donating my asset, the tax is on me, the person who is donating. Still, there is no tax on the recipient. The trust still does not have any tax because the trust is not giving me any service. But here now the tax is on me because what I have donated in that particular case, I already took the benefit at the time of purchase. So now at the time of donation, I will have to pay tax. Siddhant, is this clause applicable to personal asset? But tell me one thing, if it is a personal asset, have you taken the benefit of credit at the time of purchase? Tell me that. What is the condition? Only when you take the benefit at the time of purchase, then only at the time of donation it will be liable to tax. Now, my simple question to you is, have you taken the benefit at the time of purchase? Answer is no, because it is a personal asset. You cannot take benefit on a personal asset. Correct? Siddhant, you're right, Vanshika. Very good, Vanshika. Your answer to Siddhant is correct. Aditya, sir, if we give gift to trust, it may be taxable. Again, beta, I am gifting to trust, but it will be taxable to me when, if on that gifted asset at the time of purchase, I take an ITC. If I had not taken ITC at the time of purchase, it won't be taxable to me. Second is in the hands of trust, is it taxable? For that, we already discussed. Trust will be liable to pay tax only when the trust is giving me some branding service, like they are somewhere putting my brand name. If not, even trust is not liable to pay. So don't mix. If I am giving gift of my asset, business asset, I am liable to pay tax, right? Let us proceed. Sir, my doubt is ITC means we getting back of GST amount. Yes, yes. So what you pay on purchase, you adjust it against your sale. So indirectly you get it back. That is what is benefit. Correct? Hmm. Hmm. Mhm. Hmm. Okay. Let us proceed then. Now, students, let us come to the second part, which is the only and the most important part here. Why I'm saying, because this is the one where you'll have multiple questions. Now, for next 5 minutes, I'll not answer anybody's question because I have to keep on waiting for looking at your question and answering. Just give me 5 minutes. Let me complete now the second clause, which is the most important part. Now, second part says that whenever I am giving any goods or service, to whom? To my related person or to a person who is my distinct person, and it is in the course of business, this will be treated as a supply even without consideration. So let me first write it. This is the most important point. What is this point? So I am giving any goods or service, both. It is given to whom? To a person who is my related person. Or same thing, I'm giving to whom? To a person who is a distinct person. Now, what it means, I'll explain it to you in a minute. Now, when I am doing this in the course of business, this will be treated as a supply. Now, let me first give you examples of this. All right. So, related persons, for the time being, you can understand related person means your relatives plus your business relations. What it exactly means, the definition that you see in the valuation chapter. Here also later on the definition will come, but right now I'm not interested in the definition. That we'll discuss in detail when we come to valuation chapter. Just for the time being, keep in mind relatives. You all understand who are your relatives. Now let us say I am giving my car purchased for business. So I purchased a car for business and I'm giving it to my brother for his personal use, right? So this is example of personal relation. Second example of business relation. A firm and a partner are related, right? So a firm, same example, has purchased car for business. So now the car is purchased by business and it is given to the partner for their personal use. So if you are giving any of your goods or services to your related person who are related, either personal relations like brother, sister, parents, list you will see later, or business relation like firm and partners, employer and employee, or company and directors. These are business relations. So whenever goods or services are given to your relatives and it is given free of cost, still it is a supply, right? Now here comes an interesting point. One more example, employer gives gift to employee. Now, employer and employee are again business related persons. Yes. Now, if the employer gives gift, means it is given free of cost, there is no consideration. This is also a supply. But why I have mentioned this here, especially because this has a relaxation. Somebody had asked me this question in the previous class. I had also answered then, but now I'm explaining because it is part of here. So when employer gives gifts to employee and the value of gift exceeds rupees 50,000, only then it is taxable. In other words, if the value of gift is less than 50,000, then they will not tax it. So see this point, provided that gifts not exceeding 50,000 rupees in value in a financial year by an employer to employee shall not be treated as supply. So if my gift value is exceeding 50,000, or it is 50,000, then only it is taxable. If it is not exceeding 50,000, then it will not be taxed. So this point you have to keep in mind when employer gives gifts to employee. It is a free supply because it is a gift means nothing is getting in return. It is only one side. It is a free supply. It will be taxable if the value of gift exceeds 50,000 rupees. Now I come to the second part of this, that is distinct person concept. And then I'll take your queries. Now, what is this second concept, distinct person? This is something new. This is something different in GST. Now, in GST, again, we had discussed that if I am existing in different states, like I have my office in Maharashtra, I have in Tamil Nadu, I have in Delhi, I have in Gujarat, and I have in Bangalore, means Karnataka. Now, these are five different states. I have my offices in each of these states. Now, in this example, even though my profession is same, I'm doing the same CA consultancy practice, but the law says I will require to take five registrations because in GST, registration is state-wise. Which state you have to take registration? The state where your office is, where your business is. See, I am doing business with entire India. I have clients entire India. I don't have to take registration where my clients are. I have to take registration where I am or my businesses. Now, I have taken five registrations. Interestingly, in the eyes of GST law, these are five distinct persons. So whenever you read this word distinct person in GST, you have to remember they are talking about your own business, but in different states having separate GST registrations. Now, in this case, what are we discussing? So, my Maharashtra registration, which I am calling it as person one, is transferring some goods to my Gujarat. Let us say I'm a sari dealer, for example. These are my five showrooms. Now you have some big brand names which are having presence in multiple states. So let us say I'm a brand name Cabra Saris. My saris are famous and I have one shop or showroom here. I have one showroom here. This is in Mumbai. This is in Ahmedabad. Now, my Ahmedabad showroom has shortfall of saris. So normally it is a business practice. What I will do, my Mumbai showroom has a lot of saris. It is excess. So I'm just sending them. I'm only sending them. And you will also agree to this. I cannot sell to myself because Maharashtra is also me, Gujarat is also me. But in the eyes of GST law, Maharashtra is one person, Gujarat is my fourth person. So we are five different person in the eyes of GST law. Now, when my office or my branch or my shop, which is having one registration, is sending goods or sending services to my own shop, but in another state having another registration, this is deemed to be a supply. So when my one office, my one godown, my one branch sends goods or services to another branch, this will be treated as a supply. Obviously, I will not be charging any money to myself because both are me only. It is me in Maharashtra, it is me in Gujarat. But in the eyes of GST law, my office of Gujarat and my office of Maharashtra are separate persons. So even if I'm sending goods, even if I'm sending service, not selling, it makes no difference. This is a deemed supply. Correct. Now I am open for your queries. Yes, Maithili, there is procedure that you will study in the ITC chapter. Yes, Ankita, you're right. Aditi, sir, how the government will know that we are giving gift of exceeding more than? See, first thing, Aditi, understand one thing. Whatever we are studying, it is your responsibility to tell everything to the government. This is point number one. Now, Possibility is you have told to government, matter is closed. Possibility is you have not told to the government, you are hiding it from the government. Now, when you are hiding it from the government, this is where your question becomes relevant, that how government will know. So this is why you have the income tax department, the GST department, you have all these type of tax departments where they will be keep on auditing you, checking you. They will try to, generally by audits, they will come and check whether you have followed the law or not. Now, coming to your valuation part, wherever you have given any gift to your employee and you are saying, yes, I have given gift, but it is less than 50,000, they will get the valuation done. They will ask you to show the proof of the value, and that is how they will check. Diksha, could you please brief description of ITC? Diksha, but again, this is chapter number 5. I cannot start talking about ITC, but the brief description is whenever I purchase anything, the opposite person, the seller is charging me GST, whatever GST he is charging on me, that is my input tax, correct? And when the GST law gives me the benefit of input tax, what is the benefit? I can use it while paying my output tax. To that extent, I don't have to pay my output tax, so it becomes my benefit. This is where it is called as ITC, Diksha. जस सर माँ मीटिंग से लीव हो गया था, सो प्लीज आप सेकंड शेड्यूल फिर से बता देंगे। बट सेकंड शेड्यूल अभी तक स्टार्ट नहीं किया, सेकंड शेड्यूल स्टार्ट होना बाकी है। Sumit, for every state, a person who's turnover crossing the threshold limits need to take separate registration. No. Sumit, when we'll study registration, you will see that turnover that we see is annual turnover of the entire business of all states. So I will not see my turnover state-wise. If I have my office in 5 states, I will see turnover of all 5 states combined. When the turnover of all 5 states combined exceeds the limit, I take registration in all 5 states. So it is not state-wise turnover. Suppose same state, different GST, this clause apply or not? Very good question, Pawan. Now let us take further detailed example of what Pawan says. Now Pawan says, sir, what happens if in the same state you have multiple offices? So let us say I have 2 showrooms in Maharashtra only, one in Mumbai and one in Pune. Now what will happen? Now here comes the same point. Are these 2 branches my distinct persons? And when will these branches be called as distinct person? If I have taken separate registration. So I have taken a separate registration for Mumbai, let me call it as 1A, and another separate registration for Pune, which is 1B. Then what I am transferring here also, that will also be deemed supply. But this is an option. Now pay attention, I'm talking something about registration. The law says if you are having offices, branches in different states, it is compulsory to take separate registration in the different states. But if you have branches in the same state, you have a choice. You can take a single registration for both the branches. If I have taken a single registration, then both are one only. Then whatever I'm sending from here to here is not a supply. Why? Because they are not distinct persons. But this is one option. Second option is I can take separate registration for 2 branches in the same state. So like I have one showroom in Mumbai, I have one showroom in Pune. I decide to take separate registration, which is an option. Now these are 2 distinct persons. The transaction between them, the transfer, the free supply between them will also be taxed. So I hope, Pawan, your question is answered, and through you, others have also understood this. So Manisha is saying deemed supply is taxable. But firstly, what is deemed supply? Deemed supply is what you are reading in Schedule 1, which is supply without a consideration. So call it as free supply. So free supply falling in Schedule 1 is what becomes deemed supply, and that is what is taxable. So a distinct person can supply India to Brazil, international supply will allow. Please understand, Aditya, person sitting outside India will not have a GST number. So they cannot be my distinct person. So I cannot have a distinct person sitting outside, right? सर अगर हम आके सिटी से अपने दूसरे सिटी शॉप में गुड भेज रहे हैं तो उस पर जीएसटी लगेगा या नहीं? अंजुम, I just replied, if both your cities have taken separate GST registration, it will apply. So Dipda, in the normal course of business means anything purchased for conducting the business activity for production of goods or service. Yes, that is what is meaning of normal course. Vanshika, sir, if we have two branches within a same state having single registration, then stock transfer between them will not be considered a supply. Correct. बिकॉज अगर आपने सेम सिंगल रजिस्ट्रेशन में दोनों महाराष्ट्र के दोनों ब्रांचेस को सिंगल रजिस्ट्रेशन में कवर कर लिया, बॉम्बे को भी पुणे को भी, देन देर इज नो डिस्टिंक्ट पर्सन. आप दो सेपरेट पर्सन हो ही नहीं, आप एक रजिस्ट्रेशन हो दोनों ब्रांचेस मिला के, तो दोनों ब्रांच को एक ही माना जाता है. देन वॉट एवर यू ट्रांसफर इंटरनली इज नॉट अ सप्लाई. वंशिका. Aditi, what is the benefit of taking separate registration? See, firstly, when it is in different states, there is no option, so it is compulsory. When it is in the same state and you want to treat each branch as a separate cost center, आपको हर एक का प्रॉफिट लॉस सेपरेट जानना है. आप ये देखना चाहते हो बॉम्बे कैसा परफॉर्म कर रहा है, पुणे कैसा परफॉर्म कर रहा है, तो आप सेपरेट रजिस्ट्रेशन लेते हो. Vedant, sir, in the same instance, if I have three branches and the and individual, the limit is not exceed, but aggregate is limit. So yes, but you have to take registration of all branches, Vedant, because limit is checked not for each branch, it is checked for the entire country. But sir, in Rule 14A, in time of registration, it is not allowed to get GST number in the same state. Valio Patro, beta, please, I will request that if you are asking me questions which are of very advanced level, I will not answer it right now because it will create confusion for students. Still, answering your question, you are saying in Rule 14A, in the time of registration, it's not allowed to get GST number in the same state. I did not get this question firstly, right? 14A beta is a very specific rule. You cannot merge 14 over here. Please, I will request Value. I know you are in practice, but if you merge these things here, it will be difficult for students to understand. So you know this rule, so I'm appreciating your knowledge, but please do not post it here. It will unnecessarily create confusion. Rule 14 is very far off for us, right? Maithili. So then within the state of business branches, there is an option. You're right, Vida. So in same state, you have multiple branches. You have choice to take single registration or separate registration. Vanshika, sir, what if I have a registered branch in Maharashtra and another in UP? You don't have a choice of not taking registration, Vida. Another branch in UP has to be compulsory registered. So rule is if you have branches in different states and if you are doing business from all branches, your all branches have to take registration. It is compulsory. You cannot drop any one branch. Sumit, if the aggregate turnover of business is crossing the threshold limit, but including the zero or exempted supply, in that case, business need to apply for registration. Sumit, this is a registration chapter question. I will not answer now. Unnecessary, we will divert. So option for registration is only for business to determine profit performance. Yes, if it is within the same state, beta, businesses take separate registration for their internal purposes. But if it is in different states, it is compulsory. Then they do not have a choice. The law makes it compulsory. Yes, Minu, you are right. If there are different registration within the same state for your branches, it is deemed supply if one branch sends to another branch. Yes, Vanshika. So this is what is the concept of establishment of distinct person. Establishment means where you have a branch for which there is no registration. Now the question is why there is no registration? Because that branch is not making any supply. But in your previous question, I made it clear that if you are having different branches and all are making supply, then you have to compulsory take registration. But where there is no registration of a branch, why? Because it is not making any supply. In that case, you don't take registration, then it is called as establishment of distinct person. So still it is a distinct person. हर्षल पाटिल सर, नोट्स ऑफ दिस बीओएस ऐप पर कब डालेंगे? बेटा नोट्स मेरे कंप्लीट नहीं हुए ना, अभी तक मैं नोट्स लिख रहा हूँ ना आपके साथ. जब मेरे नोट्स पूरे कंप्लीट हो जाएंगे तो मैं डाल दूंगा. करेक्ट हर्षल. Diksha, in short, we can say that same business having two registration number. See, only having two registration number is not deemed supply. But when these two registration number will transfer goods or service between them, that will be deemed supply, Diksha. So only having two number is not deemed supply. They should transfer goods or service between them. Then that transfer will be deemed supply. Okay, beta? गुड। यस मनीषा।
तो सर ये चीज मुझे ना एक एग्जाम्पल से समझनी है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर मैं राजस्थान में हूँ और मेरी दो ब्रांचेस है राजस्थान में और वो रजिस्टर्ड नहीं है और उन दोनों के
नाम
बीच में
नाम नाम
सप्लाई हो रहा है
बताओ,
तो
नाम
फिर
बताओ, ऐसा मत, दो ब्रांच मत बोलो, नाम बोलो राजस्थान में। समझो
राजस्थान
यही
में
साड़ी का
ब्रांच
शॉप है काबरा। समझो काबरा शोरूम है आपका ब्रांड, ठीक है। अब आप बताओ
यस
मुझे
सर
आपका कहाँ पे ब्रांच है।
फ्रॉम जयपुर।
जयपुर में आपका एक शोरूम है, दूसरा कहाँ पे है।
जोधपुर।
जोधपुर में है। आप कहाँ से हो मनीषा।
जयपुर से सर।
वेरी गुड। अब आपका सवाल क्या है, क्या आपने इनका रजिस्ट्रेशन लिया है।
नहीं।
दोनों का ही नहीं लिया है।
नहीं लिया। नहीं
एंड आई एम
एक का
अज्यूम,
है जयपुर वाले का है लेकिन जोधपुर वाले का नहीं है रजिस्ट्रेशन।
जोधपुर वाले का रजिस्ट्रेशन क्यों नहीं है बेटा।
बिकॉज ये तो हमारी चॉइस होती है ना कि हम अगर रजिस्ट्रेशन
नहीं,
लेना
नहीं,
चाहे।
प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड वन थिंग। अगर आपके मल्टीपल ब्रांचेस है, मल्टीपल ऑफिसेज है, और आप वहां से बिजनेस करते हो, तो आपको सबको रजिस्टर करना पड़ता है, पहली बात। अब आपके पास चॉइस
ओके।
क्या है। आप इसको और इसको सेपरेट रजिस्ट्रेशन करो, या इसको एक ही रजिस्ट्रेशन करो। आप समझ रहे हो ये बात।
ओके सर।
चॉइस ये है
ओके।
कि आपने एक ही रजिस्ट्रेशन लिया, मतलब क्या, एक ही रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर इसको और इसको दोनों को अप्लाई होगा, दोनों का रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर सेम आएगा। सेकेंड इज,
ओके।
आप इसका सेपरेट नंबर ले सकते हो, इसका सेपरेट ले सकते हो। अगर आपने दोनों का एक ही नंबर लिया, सी आपके पास ये चॉइस नहीं है कि आप रजिस्टर मत करो। आपके पास ये चॉइस है कि सेम नंबर में दोनों को रजिस्टर करो या अलग अलग नंबर लो।
ओके सर। तो
राइट।
अगर
आई
इन
गिव यू अ
दोनों को
सिंपल
एक ही
एग्जांपल, मेरी
नंबर
बात सुनो,
से।
मेरी बात सुनो, मेरी बात सुनो, आई गिव यू अ सिंपल एग्जांपल।
यस सर।
लेट अस से आप एक बड़े इंस्टीट्यूट में पढ़ रहे हो, जहां पे आपने एमबीए भी ज्वाइन किया है और लॉ भी ज्वाइन किया है। अब अगर इंस्टीट्यूट बोलता है कि मैं आपको एक ही रोल नंबर देता हूं, और वही रोल नंबर आप एमबीए कॉलेज में भी यूज करो, और वही रोल नंबर आप लॉ कॉलेज में भी यूज करो, तो आपका वाला एग्जाम्पल हो जाएगा कि भाई मेरे पास एक ही नंबर है। मगर आपको, सी, आपको अगर दोनों कॉलेज अटेंड करना है, दोनों में अगर आपको स्टूडेंट बनना है, तो आपको रजिस्ट्रेशन तो करना पड़ेगा कॉलेज में। पर कॉलेज बोलता है मैं आपको एक
यस
ही
सर।
रोल नंबर देता हूँ, एक ही रजिस्ट्रेशन में आप दोनों कॉलेज अटेंड करो। वो पहला ऑप्शन है। पर उस केस में आपका ये
ओके
भी
सर।
रजिस्टर्ड है, ये भी रजिस्टर्ड है, आप एमबीए में भी रजिस्टर्ड हो और आप लॉ में भी रजिस्टर्ड हो, और दोनों का आपके पास रोल नंबर है, पर एक ही नंबर है क्योंकि इंस्टीट्यूट सेम है। करेक्ट।
ओके सर। मतलब
आई
कि
होप इट।
रजिस्ट्रेशन तो कंपल्सरी होता है बस एक नंबर से मतलब एक सेम नंबर
हाँ,
से।
सेम स्टेट है तो आप
तो
सेम
सर।
नंबर में दोनों को रजिस्टर कर सकते हो। या आपको इंस्टीट्यूट बोलेगा नहीं, मैं आपका लॉ कॉलेज का अलग रोल नंबर देता हूँ, और मैं आपके एमबीए कॉलेज का अलग देता हूँ, तो टेक्निकली वो लोग दो अलग अलग स्टूडेंट ही काउंट करेंगे ना, जब वो अपना लिस्ट बनाएंगे नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स का। क्योंकि लॉ कॉलेज का एक अलग रोल नंबर है और एमबीए कॉलेज का एक अलग रोल नंबर है, तो उनको दो अलग अलग स्टूडेंट देखेंगे, भले वो आप ही हो। दिस इज व्हाट इज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ डिस्टिंक्ट
ओके सर।
पर्सन। समझ रहा है बेटा।
तो सर द नंबर यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट इज जीएसटीएन ना।
यस, इसलिए तो मैं
जीएसटी
उसको
नंबर।
सिंपल भाषा में रोल नंबर बोल रहा हूँ ताकि आपको समझ में आए। सो इट इज द जीएसटीएन नंबर,
ओके सर।
विच इज द रोल नंबर ऑफ
तो
जीएसटी,
अगर
गिवन बाय जीएसटी।
हाँ तो सर
बोलो।
अब मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि अगर जोधपुर और जयपुर का एक सेम ही जीएसटीएन नंबर है और दोनों के बीच में सप्लाई हो रही है तो उसको डीम्ड सप्लाई मान लिया जाएगा।
नहीं माना जाएगा फिर, क्योंकि बेटा अगर एक ही नंबर है तो क्या वो डिस्टिंक्ट पर्सन के डेफिनेशन में आएंगे।
नहीं। इट विल बी
खत्म।
कंसिडर्ड सेम पर्सन। ओके सर।
यस।
गॉट इट थैंक यू।
ठीक है। अंडरस्टूड।
ओके सर अगर जीएसटीएन नंबर दोनों का अलग होता तो डिस्टिंक्ट पर्सन होता तो हम इसे सप्लाई डीम कर लेते।
फिर ये होता
ओके
तो
सर।
आप उसके दोनों के बीच में के ट्रांसफर को डीम सप्लाई मानते। ठीक है।
ओके सर।
अंडरस्टूड
गॉट
बेटा।
इट थैंक यू। यस
यस
सर।
बेटा।
गुड इवनिंग सर। सर मेरे क्वेश्चन था, जैसे आपने बताया कि जो कागज शोरूम है वो जो जीएसटी नंबर है वो दोनों प्लेसेस से एक ही नंबर ले सकते हैं, बट सर
अगर
प्रिंसिपल
वो
एड्रेस।
दोनों जगह सेम स्टेट में है तो प्लीज बी क्लियर विथ एवरी पॉइंट। अगर सेम स्टेट में है तो मैंने आपको चॉइस दिया है, जैसे जयपुर जोधपुर वाला एग्जांपल चल रहा है। अगर
जी।
आप दोनों आपके शोरूम्स राजस्थान में है, तो जब आप रजिस्ट्रेशन चैप्टर पढ़ते हो वो आपको चॉइस देता है कि आप दोनों, क्योंकि सेम स्टेट में है तो आप उसका एक ही नंबर ले सकते हो। अब आप आपका सवाल पूछो।
सर तो मतलब जब हम जीएसटी रजिस्ट्रेशन करते हैं तो उसमें प्रिंसिपल एड्रेस में फिर हम लाइबल कौन से एड्रेस के लेंगे, जयपुर के लिए
वो
होंगे या
आपका
जयपुर
चॉइस है, आप इसको प्रिंसिपल बोलो, इसको एडिशनल बोलो, आपका चॉइस है। जब आप दोनों का एक ही नंबर लोगे, आप किसको प्रिंसिपल बोलना चाहते हो, किसको एडिशनल बोलना चाहते हो, ये आपका चॉइस है बेटा।
के?
पर अभी
ठीक है
जो हम
सर।
पॉइंट पढ़ रहे हैं उसके प्रिंसिपल और एडिशनल से कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, क्योंकि अगर आपने दोनों का सेम नंबर लिया है तो आप उनकी नजरों में, जीएसटी की नजरों में दोनों आपका ब्रांच एक ही आदमी है। तो अब ये दोनों ब्रांच आपस में अगर कोई भी गुड्स एक दूसरे को देगा लेगा तो उसके ऊपर जीएसटी नहीं लगेगा।
इन द स्टेट।
सेम स्टेट।
सेम स्टेट, ओके सर, ठीक है।
यस। Virashri is asking, sir, what if one branch of business is not registered, other is registered, goods are sent from one branch to another? See, beta, in this case, Virashri, you have to understand that even if another, first one thing is make it clear, अगर आपके दोनों branches, if both of your branches are doing business, they have to compulsorily take registration. What is the only choice? If they are in the same state, you can combine them, take one registration. But if let us say that branch is outside India or that branch is not doing any business, then GST law says you do not take a registration. Still, it is called as establishment of a distinct person, and then also there will be a deemed supply if it is in different state. Sir, if B2C, बेटा B2C से क्या प्रॉब्लम है मैथिली? B2C मीन्स बिजनेस टू कस्टमर, कस्टमर मीन्स द पर्सन हु इज अनरजिस्टर्ड, उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है। सप्लाई इज अ सप्लाई इन बोथ केस। Akhila, sir, if three branches in same state but one branch take GST separately, other two branch has one GST registered number, the two branch transfer to one to other. Yes, बेटा, अगर एक बार आप अलग जीएसटी नंबर वाले ब्रांच को ट्रांसफर होगे, अखिला, once you are transferring goods services to that branch which is having a separate GST number, beta, it will be liable to GST under this clause. Aditi, so if anybody books me, anybody asks me to have a separate or joint single registration, so best advice I can give them, which is best advice to have single or separate. Beta, that is a business choice if it is in the same state. There is no rule for this, ki what is best. It is your personal choice if it is in the same state. Sudipta, sir, means sir, registered branch have to be cost centers to be registered. No, beta Sudipta, I gave you an example that separate branches, when, see, what is a cost center? It is a concept used by big companies when they want to have separate profit and loss for each of their branch, when they want to do decision making, when they want to understand how each of my branches are functioning. So what they do is, in their language, they call each of the branches profit centers and cost centers, and then they decide to take separate registration. Correct, Sudeepda? Vedant, sir, both branch in one state are registered only at one GST, and then they are not distinct person. You're right, Vedant. Yes, Vedant. Same GST, then same person, and if different GST, then distinct person. Perfect, Divya. Mangala Ashok Kumar, sir, can we use same registration number for second branch if we register second branch with some duration? Yes, you can do that. You'll study this in registration chapter. You can do that, Mangala. If it is in the same state, you are registering the second branch later. You can add that branch in the first GST number only as your additional place. Dhanalakshmi, sir, if I manufacture some goods and I have retail shop in same state, do I need to register? No, not necessary. Even if one is manufacturing, one is retailing, still you can cover both in the same registration if it is in the same state. अंजुम, yes, you are right, provided आपने आपके डिस्टिंक्ट पर्सन में गुड्स या सर्विस को ट्रांसफर किया है। सिर्फ दो डिस्टिंक्ट पर्सन होना ये काफी नहीं है डीम्ड सप्लाई के लिए, आपने उनमें बीच में ट्रांसफर करना चाहिए, ये भी जरूरी है टू मेक इट अ डीम्ड सप्लाई। ओके बेटा। Now next two entries are simple. I'm sure here there will be no confusion. Third point is very simple. It says supply of goods by principal to agent or by agent to principal. तो हमने प्रिंसिपल एजेंट ये हमने पहले भी पढ़ा है इन अकाउंट्स. सो वेयर देयर इज प्रिंसिपल एंड एजेंट एंड दे आर हैविंग ट्रांजेक्शन बिटवीन देम. अब हम जानते हैं कि जब अपने अकाउंट्स में यू हैव स्टडीड कंसाइनमेंट कॉन्सेप्ट. So where goods are sent on consignment, we say they are sent on consignment. They are not sold on consignment. Means that I am sending goods and the goods will be sold by my agent on my behalf. That is goods sent on consignment. In such cases, even though you are sending goods, but the law says we will deem it as a supply. So when principal sends to agent, or it is vice versa, agent sends to principal, it will be deemed to be a supply between them. And again, last point is import of service. Now here in this fourth point, which import of service is covered? Where you are importing the service from a related person or from your own office outside India, and it is done in the course of business. So where in short you are importing service from a related person or from your own office which is situated outside India, that import of service, even if done free, will be liable to GST. So these are the other two entries which are simple. Main is entry 1 and 2, and out of that, as I told you earlier also, entry 2 is important, and you have understood why, because there is lot many aspects to entry 2, right? So with this we have complete the schedule 1. Anjum is saying, sir, schedule 1, 3 explain. बेटा प्रिंसिपल एजेंट आपने पढ़ा है ना, प्रिंसिपल एजेंट अकाउंट्स में. गुड्स सेंट ऑन कंसाइनमेंट, तो कंसाइनमेंट आपका एजेंट होता है. जब आप कंसाइनमेंट वाले को गुड्स भेज रहे हो, आपको जीएसटी भरना पड़ेगा. दिस इज व्हाट इज द थर्ड पार्ट, राइट? नो बेटा श्रीधर, व्हेन गुड्स आर सेंट ऑन अप्रूवल देयर इज नो डीम्ड सप्लाई. Firstly, are you talking about agent? Answer is no. You are talking about customer because we send goods on approval basis to customer. So will it fall in 3? No, 3 is only when it is between principal and agent. Here it is not between principal and agent. Correct? Yes, Aditi. So even where goods are supplied by agent to principal, still that is deemed supply under the third part. Yes, Harshal, beta, tell me.
सर पैरा नंबर थर्ड में ऑफर डीम्ड सप्लाई, उसमें जैसे आपने बोला कि एजेंट और प्रिंसिपल के बिटवीन कंसाइनमेंट सेंड करना, ऐसा ट्रांजैक्शन होता है एंड वी टेक एज अ डीम्ड सप्लाई ऑफ दैट.
करेक्ट.
सो मेरा क्वेश्चन ऐसा था कि फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे अभी मुझे स्टडी मटेरियल आया था, राइट? तो
ठीक है.
वो स्टडी मटेरियल कुछ ट्रांसपोर्ट एजेंट से आया होगा, राइट?
करेक्ट.
So in that case, can we take this example as in third
बेटा
para?
वो ट्रांसपोर्ट आपका एजेंट है, आपका एजेंट है वो.
No, sir.
वो इंस्टीट्यूट का एजेंट है.
Maybe.
कैसे क्या बेटा? ट्रांसपोर्टर कैसे क्या इंस्टीट्यूट का एजेंट हुआ? ट्रांसपोर्टर अपना बिजनेस कर रहा है, इंस्टीट्यूट इंडिपेंडेंट है. हाउ आर दे एजेंट एंड प्रिंसिपल? इज द ट्रांसपोर्टर एजेंट ऑफ योर इंस्टीट्यूट? हैज
uh,
इंस्टीट्यूट अपॉइंटेड द ट्रांसपोर्टर एज इट्स एजेंट?
can appoint.
नो बेटा, व्हाई इट विल अपॉइंट? अरे मुझे इंडिया में थाउजेंड्स ऑफ सिटीज में माल भेजना, मैं क्या थाउजेंड्स ऑफ ट्रैवल एजेंट्स के साथ या ट्रांसपोर्ट एजेंट को एजेंट बनाऊंगा? वी कॉल देम एज ट्रैवल एजेंट्स. दैट डज नॉट मीन दे आर माई एजेंट्स. उनका नाम ही
जैसे
रखा गया लोगों ने ट्रैवल एजेंट, उनको
मतलब
नाम दे दिया
जैसे
लोगों ने ट्रैवल एजेंट. बट आर दे माई एजेंट? आंसर इज नो. हम
ओके
एजेंट
सर,
अपॉइंट करते हैं ना, हम कॉन्ट्रैक्ट साइन करते तब वो एजेंट बनता है ना.
मतलब जब ट्रांजैक्शन नीड होगा तभी सप्लाई होगा, राइट?
हम जब उससे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करेंगे, हम उसे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट से अपना एजेंट बनाएंगे. अपने लॉ में भी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में भी पड़ा है एजेंट वाला कॉन्सेप्ट. जब तक आप कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं करते, इन दैट केस दे आर नॉट योर एजेंट. उनका नाम एजेंट होने से कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. हम इंश्योरेंस के लोगों को भी एजेंट बोलते हैं, राइट? पर वो हमारे एजेंट नहीं होते, वो इंश्योरेंस कंपनी के एजेंट होते हैं. प्लीज
राइट सर.
अंडरस्टैंड, कुछ लोगों को नाम दे दिया एजेंट, बट दैट डज नॉट मीन दे आर योर एजेंट. यू हैव टू एंटर अ contract of agency with them, then only they become your agent.
This is the nature of business as agent.
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
यशवंत is saying, sir, point 4 में last line in the course or furtherance of business, इसके बिना डीम सप्लाई नहीं होगा. Obviously यशवंत बेटा, where they have specifically mentioned it should be in the course of business, उसके बिना वो डीम सप्लाई नहीं होगा. You are right. Azar, goods sent to warehouse, is it deemed supply? If your warehouse is having a separate registration Azar, then it will be deemed supply. If warehouse is covered in the same registration, no deemed supply. Agent is one who to we provide the legal authority. Yes, you are right. So when agent return the goods, yes, exactly. So that is what is the second part, agent to principal. When goods are unsold and agent returns back, it is also a deemed supply. क्योंकि जब आपने उसको भेजा था at that time it was supply. So when the agent returned, it is again supply. That is what is exactly the B part. Okay, students, we'll take a 10 minutes break and then we'll go to the last part of our discussion, which is the last step, that is schedule 2, that what is now the supply, whether it is supply of goods or supply of service. So we start sharp at 8. Fine. Connect again. Now we come to my step 3. So before that, I'll just complete this 3. Supply of goods, principal to agent or agent to principal. And then 4, import of services in the course of business and from related person or own establishment outside India. Yes. Provide the WhatsApp link. Sir, just wanted to understand and need your advice how can we make notes priority weightages, which is important in terms of revision. Shashikant, beta, I am doing exactly the same thing. This is how you have to make the notes. Just follow what I'm doing. Develop that habit. That is what will take you to best marks in exams. Sir, what does agent supplies to principal? Beta, Aditi, this is already answered. Returning back the goods. Many times the agents are purchase agents. Their purpose is to purchase goods for you. It is not always agents are for sale. So two things can come. One is what you have supplied to them, it is returned back by the agent, that will come. Two, the agents are purchase agents. So their role is to purchase it from big manufacturers and send it to the principal. So purchase agents are also there. So that is what will come. Now we are in our last step, that is step 3. Now, once you cross step 2, in step 2, you have concluded that yes, my supply is a supply either because of general meaning 7.1a. And let me tell you, 95% of transactions are supplied by 7.1a. And then remaining 5% are supplied by 7.1b, AA, or C. Right? Now we come to step 3. Whether it is supply of goods or supply of service. So now what we are doing is classification. So now we have reached the point where we know that, okay, my transaction is a supply. But now when you proceed with the GST law, you'll find that in GST law, supply, whether it is of goods or whether the supply is of service, is very important because it will determine everything in GST. Now, how to determine this? For this, you have section 7.1a, which says refer schedule 2, and you have section 7.3, which says it will be notified certain transactions as to what is supply of goods, what is supply of service. Now, how is schedule 2 helping you? So schedule 2 is for classification, whether it is supply of goods or supply of service. Now, how to determine whether your transaction is supply of goods or service? I will convert again the schedule to in simplified manner for your easy understanding. So first, your transaction is of movable items. Now, movable items obviously will be goods. Now, in this first, you outrightly, sorry, I'll change this language. You transfer complete rights, property in goods. First possibility. Second, you transfer complete rights, property in goods for deferred. What it means, I'll tell you. And you transfer only part rights, like for use, for display, but not complete property in goods. Now, both these are supply of goods and this is supply of service. Now, whatever I have written, what it means. See, now we are talking about movable items. So I'll take example of a car. Simple. I sell my car to you. What do I mean by sell my car to you? I have given you the complete rights. Now, if you remember Sale of Goods Act, which you studied in foundation, we used to use the word transfer of property in goods. Property means I have given you complete ownership. So I'll write this word, ownership. So when I give complete ownership of goods, so how I am transferring the goods? By giving you the complete rights, ownership, or the complete property in goods. Like I have sold the car to you. It is supply of goods. Same thing I have done, but this property will transfer at a later date, like hire purchase, where I'm selling you the car, but I'll say that my property will transfer on last installment. So it is deferred, but still the property in goods is transferred, but at a later date, like hire purchase. Still it is supply of goods. Why? Because ultimately the ownership is transferring. But many times when I give you the goods, I'm only giving it for using it. Like I give you my car on rent. Okay, you take my car, use it for your trip and give it back to me. So where I'm only giving it to for using it temporarily or for just displaying it, but I'm not giving you the ownership. So ownership is not given. Only right to use is given. It is supply of service. See, this is logical. Though it appears to be something technical, if you think about this, if I've given you completely the goods forever, permanently, it is supply of goods. I've given it to you temporarily, use it, display it, keep it, but give it back to me after some time, it is supply of service. Second, intangible items. Now you all know what are intangibles. These are patents, copyrights. Now, in such cases where patents, copyrights, such things are given, the answer is same as for one above. What is the answer? Have I given the complete ownership of my patents to you? Whether today or at a later date, but I'm going to completely transfer the ownership of my patent copyrights. It will be supply of goods. If I'm only giving you the patent copyrights for use, but the copyright remain mine, but you can use it, you can print or publish the book using the rights, but the rights remain mine, then it is supply of service. Now comes immovable items. Now in this, we already studied something in schedule 3. What did we study? Sale of land or sale of completed building. This is anyways no supply, so there is no question of classification because this you studied in schedule 3 already. So it is no supply, no question of classification. So now we are talking about transactions other than sale of land or sale of completed building. Now what are the other transactions? First, sale of under construction building. Now, when I say building, it means flat, shop, anything. So let me write flat, shop, office, right? Second, giving land, building on rent or lease or hire. All this is supply of service. So in short, you can say whenever immovable property transactions will be taxable, it will always be supply of service. Why? Because immobile cannot be goods. That is the basic point. So the transaction of immobile cannot be goods. It will always be service. Then comes fourth category, softwares. Right? Now for softwares, what is the rule? First is there are standardized softwares. And the second is customized. Now standardized like Tally. Now, if you give complete ownership with code, or code samples, not complicated. Where you give complete ownership, it is sale of goods. But here, many times you give only the right to use, which is also called as subscription. Like in case of Quick Heal and all, you get a subscription for 1 year, 2 years. It is supply of service. But whenever you customize software, so customize, upgrade, install, implement, whenever all these things are done for software, it is always supply of service. Correct? And then 5 comes some other transactions. Now, what are these other transactions? If you remember, in your Contract Act, there was something called as agreeing not to do something. Which is technically called as forbearance. Then job work, that is working on goods belonging to some other persons. Then giving business assets for personal use. Now all these are supply of services. Correct? Sure. I'll first take some questions and then I'll proceed. Aditi Verma, who is Dell Creditor Agent? Beta, Dell Creditor Agent is the agent who is also taking the responsibility of bad debts. So if bad debts occur, the agent will bear the bad debts. That person is Dell Creditor Agent. Here in GST, it makes no difference whether the agent is a regular agent or Dell Creditor Agent. The answer is same. Correct? Meenu Kumari sir, 4 point once again last you mentioned outside establishment. Outside establishment, beta. See, when you have an office outside India, there is no GST registration. No GST registration means Indian laws do not apply over there. So I cannot call it as distinct person. So we call it as establishment outside India. Right? Then Lakshmi is saying explain the other transactions. See, but other transaction means it is a list of transactions like agreeing not to do something. If you remember Contract Act, we had studied this. This is also treated as some act or service. You have agreed not to do something like I have agreed that I will not start a competing business in your area where you are doing a business. That is agreeing not to do something. Job work is processing goods belonging to others. So your goods you have sent to me for painting, for something. This is called as job work. Then giving your business asset for personal use, like we saw in above case. I'm giving my business car to my partner for personal use. All these are supply of services, because if you see in all these, some transaction is happening. You are not permanently giving your goods. You are giving your goods temporarily, or you are doing something for someone. Whenever you do something for someone, it is always a service. So these are all transactions of service. Is this clear? Now we come to the last part in this. The last part is, there is a concept over here. One is composite transactions. Now, what is composite transactions? If you see everywhere, we are saying good, service, or both. Now, in composite transactions, they have said that if you are engaged in restaurant, catering, which they have called as supply of food with serving, or you are doing works contract. So works contract includes construction, reconstruction. Both this is treated as supply of service. And then in composite transaction, except these two, for other transactions. So what is composite? Where you have supplied goods plus goods, or you have supplied goods plus service, or you have supplied service plus service. So where two, three things are combined together, it is a composite transaction. Now in composite transaction, if it is a restaurant or catering, or if it is works contract, it is supply of service. But for all other transactions, they have said that either it will be a composite supply, or either it will be a mixed supply. Now this is what is explained in section 8. Now what does section 8 says? Section 8 says that if it is a composite supply, tax levied as applicable to principal supply. And if it is a mixed supply, tax levied as applicable to that item having highest rate. So what is this? So let us say, I'll give you example of this. So first you see composite transactions. Restaurant catering is first composite transaction. Here they have said it is straightforward supply of service. Works contract like construction, this is also a composite transaction. It is supply of service. For these two, you do not decide whether it is composite supply or mixed supply. But for all other transactions other than these two, you will decide whether it is a composite supply or mixed supply. I'll give you example. So you go for a movie. Let us say Border 2 movie is there. It is going very well. And now the Border 2 movie says that if you come for movie, I will also provide you popcorn, I will also provide you cold drink, and also provide you a samosa. And this all will be for rupees 500. Now in this case, you are having multiple things together. Goods or goods plus service. So this is basically example of goods plus service. Now when it is goods plus service, is it a restaurant or catering? No. Is it a works contract? No. Then you have to come and check whether it is a composite supply or mixed supply. If it is a composite supply, tax is levied as if it is the main supply, principal supply. So whatever is applicable to main supply, that applies to the entire composite supply. But if it is not a composite supply, it is mixed supply, then tax is levied at the highest rate of all the supplies. Now the question is, when a supply is a composite supply or a mixed supply? Firstly, whatever I have explained here, this is given in section 8. But the question is, what is a composite supply? So composite supply is where two or more taxable supplies are done. So as in my example, ticket is there, plus samosa is there, plus cold drink is there. So 2 or more taxable supplies are there. And most important, which are naturally bundled. This is most important. And the last important concluding point in this is, and one of them is principal supply. So how is composite supply defined? So there should be more than one item. So 2 or more items are supplied and they are naturally bundled. What is naturally bundled? This is the only thing which you have to understand. Once you understand this, you'll understand the difference between a composite supply and a mixed supply. So what is naturally bundled? See, when you go to market, you will find that nowadays it has become common to give certain things together as a combo. Like if you go to buy TV, the TV compulsorily will have the TV stand, will compulsorily have the remote, though these are different items, plus the different cords. Now this is common that TV will come with the stand, with the cords and with the remote. Similarly, when you are going to a hospital, besides the treatment, it is common that you will be given a room. You will be also provided special attendants. You will also be provided food. In fact, you will also be provided the clothes. So again, multiple things are given together and giving them is naturally bundled. So we say that this is naturally bundled. Naturally means obvious. We will say ना कि अरे ये तो होना ही है, ये तो मिलना ही है, ये तो साथ में देते ही है. So this is normally given together. Normally these things come together. Then it is naturally bundled. So where 2 or more supplies which are given together are naturally bundled. Naturally bundled means they are given together only. You will find in different shops that these things are given together only, and one of them is main and others are subsidiary. Like in TV remote, etc. What is the main supply? TV. Other things are supporting the TV. So main supply is TV. So where 2 or more items are given, in which one is the main item, that is the principal item, others are secondary items, and giving this together is natural. Natural means it is common. Everybody does the same thing or majority of the people does the same thing. Then your supply becomes a composite supply. You will levy tax on the entire value as applicable to the main item. So maybe TV, remote, the cords, the stand may have individually different rates, but you will apply rate to that entire value, which includes all these things of TV. If let us say now the government has reduced the TV rates, you will pay lesser tax, even though the remote and the cords may have a higher rate. But since it is a composite supply, the rate applicable to the principal item, the main item, is applicable to the entire transaction. But if this condition is not satisfied, what condition? That these are not naturally bundled. Now, when you will say it is not naturally bundled, you go to a shop. Now, that particular shopkeeper wants to sell its items. So what it has done, it has itself make a special combination. What it is saying, I will give you in combination a tie, I will give you a pen, I will give you a pair of socks, and I will give you a belt. Now, this is a combination made by this shopkeeper. But do you find such combinations in other shops or showrooms? Answer is no. It is this combination is made by one of the persons. Only that person is doing or one of the persons are doing. It is not natural. It is not common. But still they are giving, they are charging a lump sum price. They are saying that this for whole package, I am charging you 2000 rupees. You will get so much benefit because individually these items will cost you more than 3000, but together in this combo offer, I am giving you it for 2000. So such combinations which are not common but given together are called as mixed supply. Now in this, you'll see the independent rates of all these items. Tie maybe let us say 5%, pen let us say 5%, but one of this item is 18%. Then on the whole, I will charge the 18% rate, which is the highest rate. Highest rate means out of all the items given in that combo offer, whichever items rate is highest, that will apply to all the rates. So the difference between a composite supply and mixed supply is, in case of mixed supply, you always pay the higher rate of tax on the entire value. But in case of composite supply, you will pay the tax rate applicable to the main supply. Now, if the main supply is having a lower rate, you will pay lower rate for the entire supply. So this is the difference between composite and mixed. Now I'll go to questions. Aditi Verma is asking, what is job work? See, job work is what? I am manufacturer of cars. Let us say I am Tesla. But Tesla does everything. So once car is made in Tesla company, for painting it is sent outside. For some other small part it is sent outside. For buffing, for some polishing, it is sent outside. So many times nowadays companies do what? They send their goods outside for some small work to be done on those goods. That is job work. Virashli, sir, can you explain again supply of service in software? See, in software, there are two things. One is you buy a whole software like Tally, it is permanently with you. And second is you take subscription where it will expire after 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. So where you buy the whole software which will be there with you lifelong, it is sale of goods, supply of goods. But where it is subscription, after 2, 3 years, it will get over. You'll have to pay again. Then it is supply of service. Yes, Aditi, TV is the principal supply or the main supply. Car plus keys, yes, very good. So car is the main supply and it is a composite supply. Mobile and charger, correct. What are the examples of mixed? As I give you, see, mixed, there will be very less examples. But otherwise, as I said, now people are making any combination of their own. So I am a shopkeeper. I am saying with AC, I will give you TV. This is a combination I've made for 1 lakh rupees. Now, whether AC and TV are sold together commonly by others, no. So then this is example of mixed supply. So sir, for mixed supply, then Lakshmi is saying, can we give example as school kit given? Yes, very good. School kits, you can say. Yes, gift hampers, Manisha, very good example of mixed supply. Many gift hampers are mixed supply because they make combination of anything. In fact, many times they make combination of that which is not getting sold. So along with a selling item, fast selling item, they add those items which are not selling. Very good. So such gift hampers are all examples of mixed supplies. So students, with this, we have completed the entire supply chapter. It is one of the most lengthiest chapter, a most technical chapter. Flight plus ticket, but I believe it should be composite supply because you'll find majority of the this flight airline companies offer that. So it has now become naturally bundled. So Bala Murugan is asking, sir, in test your knowledge, what is the difference between 5B and 9.3? In both cases, services are rendered by brother. In 5B, it is not supply, and in 9.3, it is considered as a supply. Yes, Sridhar. So when you are receiving gift from your client, see, gift received from client is not deemed supply because client is not your related person, right? So you cannot say gift received from client is a deemed supply until unless it can be proved that it is not a gift, it is actually payment for your services. But just to avoid tax, they have written it as gift. So now in test your knowledge, he is saying which case 5B and 9.3. Okay. But immobile and intangible are different. Na? Immobile means like building land which cannot be moved. Intangible is what you cannot touch and see, like patents, copyrights. All rights are intangible. Na? So firstly, what is 9.3? Examine whether the activity of import service. See, but a 9.3.9 is specifically dealing with import. So for import, you have separate conditions. Now what it's saying in 9.3, will your answer change if within the above case, if Miss Sriniti has taken interior decoration service with regard to her business premises and not her residence? Now see, for import of service, when you are importing service for free, the condition is it should be done from a related person, but it should be in the course of business. Now here, Ms. Sriniti has taken this interior decoration service relating to her business premises. Now in this particular case, if Ms. Sriniti is taking this interior decoration service in relation to business. It should be a supply, correct? Beta? Now your other point was 5B. Now what is in 5B? Let me check. Examine whether the activity would be supply. Ram is architect in Chennai. His brother who is settled in London is a well-known lawyer. Raman has taken legal advice from him free of cost with regards to his family dispute. Now see, what is the difference over here? You are taking it for personal use. So for import of service, if it is done free, then it should be for business use. If it is done for consideration, then it can be for personal use. I hope you are understanding the difference. So we studied import of service at two places, 7.1b also and 7.1c also. In 7.1b, when we studied import of service, it said it should be for consideration. Then even if it is for personal use, it will be supply. 7.1c says when it is without consideration, it has to be for business, then it will be supply. I hope you got the difference between these 2 points, Beda, which you have asked.
Yeah, sir, I have a question. So if you come to 5C, okay, the answer tells 5C is not a supply.
See, what is 5C? Would your answer be different if in the above case, Raman has taken advice in respect of his business unit in Chennai? Now, see, go step by step. In this case, Mr. Raman has taken advice. Which advice? Legal advice, right? In respect of his business unit in Chennai. Now, what is common? He's taking it free. Now, if he's taking it free, and if it is taken in respect of business unit, is it import of service firstly? If answer is yes, right, it is import of service. It is done for a consideration. Is it done for a consideration, Beda?
No, it's for free.
It's for free. So once it is for free, you go to 7.1c. Now, what was does 7.1c says? It should be from a related person. Is it a related person? Check.
Yes.
Answer is yes. Is
Yes.
it import of service? Yes.
Yes.
And third, is it in relation to business? Answer is
Yes.
yes. Then it should be a supply. Why you are saying 5C is not a supply?
The answer given in that thing
Let me
is
check.
telling it
Let
not.
me check. Let me check. If Raman takes advice with regards to his business unit service provided by Raman to brother would still not be treated as supply read with Schedule 1, as although the same are provided in the course, but both are provided without consideration service. It is saying it has not been received from related person.
Yeah. Okay.
That
So
is why it
here
is
is it's Raman and brother, right? So if you come to 9C and
no,
9.3.
no. 1 second. First, we'll conclude 5. Whether they are brothers or not, let us first conclude. Raman is architect, his brother settled in London, well-known lawyer. This is B. Raman has taken legal advice. What would be your answer if in above case Raman has taken advice in respect of his business unit in Chennai? But here he has taken advice from whom? I am assuming it is he is taking advice from his brother only.
Yeah.
So this answer, I think there is some typo error. This has to be a supply beta. Why? Because they have given it as no supply because they are saying service has not been received from related person. But if I read question B and C together, if I'm assuming it to be continuation of B, correct? In B, they have specifically
Yes.
said it is from brother. So brother is a related person.
Sounds good. As long as it's a typo, I'm okay. Yeah. Because both the cases, it's taking service from brother, and both are importing of services.
So it is correct. There is some typo error, beta.
Sounds good.
Perfect then?
Yep. Thank you.
Super. Vedant is asking, sir, what will be the GST rate for mixed supply? Beta, then you have to see in mixed supply what are the different items. Some is 0, some is 5, some is 18. You will take the rate whichever is highest out of all these items. So out of all these items, the 18% wala item is highest. So we'll take 18% rate. Next, Aditi is asking, job work is company sending their product for upgrading, mixing, improving, adding something. See, companies nowadays, big companies are getting many processes done from outside. So when you get any process on your product done from outside, packing, printing, some type of polishing, such things are job work. So when you are getting some work on your, see, actually earlier everything was done by company. Nowadays, for specialization, they are sending certain work to be done outside by the company. So when they are sending the goods outside for getting some work done on their goods, it is called as job work. So on page number 2.65, there is a quiz time which says which of the following activities are neither supply of goods or service. I was not able to answer it. Okay, let me check, beta. So, beta, what you have not understood in this quiz, which of the following activities are considered neither a supply of goods nor a supply of service? In short, we have to decide schedule 3. Interstate movements of truck between distinct persons. This is no supply because this we saw specifically in a circular. Grant of mining rights by government to business. This is a supply. Service provided by employer to employee is a supply. And lottery. See, all these are supply. Only A is not a supply, na? So, what is your doubt, beta? Vanshika, I hope you got the answer. Services, immobile items or intangible items. See, beta, for immobile items, whatever you do for immobile items, it is always service. For intangibles, if you are selling outright the ownership of the patents, copyrights, that intangible will be supply of goods. And where you are giving your intangibles only for using it for some period of time, it is supply of service. So under movable items in schedule 2, what is deferred? So deferred is hire purchase, where you are giving the goods today, but the ownership will be transferred at a later date when all installments are paid. So that is hire purchase. So A is correct, na beta? Because that is what we studied in the circular, na? Yes. So students, I hope you have understood all the points, but still, since this is a new concept, there are so many things. It is not so straightforward. Please study, read it. We will again revisit your doubts in the next class. So don't worry. So Sridhar is saying, sir, a landlord pagdi system is supply under GST or not? Yes, but it is supply. Free sample in sale or for advertisement is deemed supply. No, beta. But if you have taken ITC of that free sample, then you will cover in schedule 1, para 1. Grant of mining rights. Yes, but it is supply. Why not? Government giving mining rights. Why it is not a supply? Government has given rights of mining. So there is transaction, there is service, consideration is charged, and whatever government does is business. We have seen in the definition of business, all 4 elements are satisfied, beta. So why not it will be a supply? Correct? Understood? Perfect. So that is all from my side, students. Please study. Please go through the module. Certain things may still be confusing. Don't worry, you can come back to me in the next class. We will discuss and we'll find out the answers. Fine, students? Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Take care and keep studying. Done, sir. Done, Manishi. Thank you very much. Good night. Good night, Manishi.